Hello, friends. It is a beautiful sunny day today, but I cannot enjoy it because I am eternally reminded of the fact that I cannot use sun in Generation 5 OU. Well, I can. I've had a lot of fun laddering before with Choice Band Darmanitan plus Choice Band Victini sun teams, but would I use them in a serious tournament game? No. If I want to be successful there, I have to use one of those playstyles that's actually good into the metagame. So I thought about the man who is responsible for this whole affair, and I have decided I've had enough. So today we are addressing Finchinator's Heart of Darkness. And the reason I mention this, it's very important. As a Finchinator is he's a guy who's like into literature and poetry and stuff like that, right? And once I was like, oh yeah, yeah, Heart of Darkness, and he was like, oh yeah, that thing that was inspired by Apocalypse Now. I think that he knew that it was wrong, but he was just trying to mess with me. But it did give me an idea of how we are going to bring him down. So I have here assembled a list of Finchinator's greatest crimes. I know there's a lot more than just five, obviously. Feel free to leave them in the comments, but I thought these were the most egregious. So we are going to list these crimes as well as some other things of his that bothered me. And then we are going to fix them because I figured I did wear him down because I personally have been known to engage in a stall war or two myself. And let me tell you, Finch doesn't know what he's doing when he's stalling. See, that's the thing. He stalls when it's easy, when it's safe, when it's some scrub who has no chance. But against someone who actually understands the intricacies, the nuances, the detail of stall, and can really just go all night long, he just can't keep up. Anyway, so this isn't one of his most egregious crimes, but I figured we would start off with the fact that I need a haircut, but my usual place has just increased their prices. So I either have to shell out more or, go find another place. You know how much of a pain that is. And Finchinator is part of that well-known group famous for, okay, well, the microphone that I have on my desk just slid a little off of it. So thanks, Finch. But more importantly, Finch is one of those people who's really just, always messing with the dollar. He's an accountant. I'm pretty sure he still is anyway. He used to be at some point anyway. Or no, when he was first coming up and he was lying about his age, he's like, "Oh, actually I'm 20. I'm an accountant and I'm super rich and stuff like that." Those were the innocent crimes of a 12-year-old or however old he was, but I'm pretty sure he actually went into a I don't really know. Either way, I'm pretty sure he's responsible. So, yeah. Crime number one, claims to love America, but uses stall. So, listen, if you are a freedom-loving patriot, then you would not use stall against anyone, pretty much. Now, you might recall that I just said that I have engaged in stall wars before, of course, but you'll also note that I do not live in America. However, this is not because I am not a freedom-loving patriot. It's because I love America and freedom so much. I am on a mission to spread freedom everywhere. So eventually everything will be America. Obviously, there will be original America, but right now the world, my buddy told me this a long time ago, and it's always really stuck with me right here, that the world is basically America and then not America. We don't care. So I have sacrificed my own personal ability to be in the USA so that more countries can, I'd have to deal with fucking barking dogs outside my window at 1 p.m. Yeah, well, I mean, what is this world coming to? Anyway, so, and yes, sometimes I have had to use stall, but that was all part of my mission in spreading freedom. I had to go undercover, and I really understood it. Sometimes I didn't know who I was anymore, but Finchinator, he knows exactly who he is and what he's doing. Number two, he is extremely xenophobic. He just cannot embrace other cultures. I think it's the fact that he's from New Jersey, and people from there, I mean, it's nightmarish. Number three, he does not respect women. You know why you can't use chlorophyll in Gen 5 OU? It's not because of Venusaur. Oh, it's so broken with just one set. No, I've heard what Finchinator gets like when he's, a little rowdy, when he's had a few. And he said really he just could not stomach the idea of anyone bringing Lilligant to OU play, followed by a bunch of other untoward things I probably shouldn't repeat. And I was just scandalized because to so profoundly refuse the basic tenets of feminism in the 21st century at this point is just unacceptable. So, number four, he openly laughs at culture and others' misfortunes. And boy, we'll get to that. But he has been quoted as going LMAO exclamation mark out loud. He didn't say laughing my ass off. I mean, he's done that too. But, rather than actually laugh like a human being. But no, he actually said LMAO exclamation mark, to another person too. So our goal at the end of this is to turn Finchinator into a real human being. And five, this one's just a rumor at this point, but this one has a basis in some sort of reality, I'm convinced. He wants to put Toxapex in every generation. And Gen 6 OU with Toxapex, Gen 5 OU with Toxapex. You say, oh, well, in Gen 4, at least it doesn't have Regenerator. Not under Finchinator's watch. Oh, in Gen 1, it's Psychic types everywhere. Toxapex resists Psychic in Gen 1, despite being a Poison type. He's going to mess with the game's code or something. Or he's going to have someone do it for him because, he couldn't do it himself. So, inspired by his little gaffe with Heart of Darkness and Apocalypse Now, I have decided to delve into my movie, book, and music collection to help fix his shortcomings, of which there are many. And I know this probably won't do a whole lot of good. Or let me take that back. Let me be more positive. It will do a lot of good, but it won't solve the whole thing. But this is where I need the audience's help to help. Yeah, see, he's even having a negative effect on my vocabulary. Anyway, so we're going to start off with Dawn of the Dead. This is the Dario Argento cut of the Romero film. And the reason I chose this is because once we were at a funeral with Finch for this girl named Dawn, and he was like, oh, dude, this is just like Dawn of the Dead. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Okay, because her name is Dawn and she's dead, but that's so insensitive. And also wrong because that is not what Dawn of the Dead is like at all. And then he was like, no, you're right. It's more like, Dawn, I'd like to get some head from you. And yeah, so for that, then we are going to make Finch sit through this classic. My dad told me he saw this when it came out and he was absolutely repulsed. Those gore effects, let me tell you, which are totally not okay and probably something Finch watches during lovemaking. Anyway, what's next? Yes. Oh, this is also a very fast-paced movie. I'm told that I still haven't checked out the Argento cut, but I'm told that the Argento cut is more fast-paced. So this will hopefully push Finch in a more offense-loving direction and have him no longer take advantage of idiots who don't know what they're doing with unbreakable stall teams. And he's just like, ooh, optimal gameplay. And I'm like, ooh, shut the fuck up. Anyway, what's number two? Oh, yes. So number two is that he's xenophobic. So he just cannot embrace others' cultures. So I actually just thought of another solution to this. Yes, here it is. Okay. So we're going to start out here with my French DVD of Goodfellas because a few years ago I was in Paris and I went movie shopping. So I picked up a lot of titles. I mean, it's in English, obviously, with French subs. But yeah, I realize this is not an actual French film, but you gotta ease him in a little. First you make him watch it with the French subtitles, because of course he loves Goodfellas. Everyone loves Goodfellas, and he's from Jersey, and they're all the same. And God, Jersey. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to have him watch Les Affranchis, and you can congratulate me on my French pronunciation in the comments. With the subtitles first, and then we maybe watch the dubbed version. I'm very opposed to dubs in movies in general, but you have to compromise at first if you want to get at first only if you want to make some sort of progress. Because if you get too idealistic, nothing ever gets done. Boom, life lesson. God, how can I just churn those out nonstop when Finchinator is just churning out so much wanton destruction? Yeah. Also, the paper for one of our next choices was just sliding out of the case, so I had to fix it. Finch probably broke into my house in the middle of the night and just was like, it's not even like major, but it's the slightest annoyance, that I just have to deal with now. So we're going to start off with that French DVD of Goodfellas, maybe get him into some other classics, and then we're going to make him read. Finchinator hates reading, and for that reason, he loves making other people read, which is why every single one of his forum posts about tiering policy is a million years long. And what does it say? Very little. I'm kidding. It says nothing. So we are going to give him a masterful work of both economy and foreign perspective in One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. And it is by a wonderful, wonderful author. And I am hoping that Finchinator will acknowledge the legitimacy of other countries and languages after reading this. And by the end, he'll just be going like, da blach, eto prekrasne. Anyway, so that's number 2. Number 3, this one's really, really important. The fact that he doesn't respect women. Because whenever he goes up against a woman in a tournament game, it's ugly. He stalls them, of course. He has a special team folder. There's like stall, and then there's like stall parentheses to be used against women. And these stall teams are disgusting. They're full of only male Pokemon, by the way. So on the one hand, you don't have to deal with Chansey. On the other, you have to deal with Toxapex. And not that you didn't already, but on one hand he makes sure that it's male because the nickname is Toxapex parentheses male, and he throws on Mega Aggron in Gen 7. And he's like, "Oh, look at me, I'm a big hard man." And yeah, so to get Finch more in touch with his feminine side, I have selected a couple. Actually, not a couple, 3, because I'm precise with language, something Finch could stand to learn about. So number 1. We have The Woman Destroyed. This is very important. And speaking of amazing French pronunciation, it is written by Simone de Beauvoir. And let me tell you, Finch, I think your views on your tournament opponents is going to change after this one. We've also got Ice by Anna Kavan. I love this book. It's maybe my favorite ever. It's up there with J.G. Ballard's Atrocity Exhibition, which unfortunately I have only read in PDF form, but it's just incredible. I would like to get a physical copy. So this might entice Finch to embrace more imaginative team ideas. He might try to use Hail in Gen 5 OU, for example. I've heard that some guy made a video on why it's good now. And finally, we are going to dive into the film realm. And this one is especially good because it's also foreign, so it doubles as helping to fix his xenophobia. And these are 3 films by Mai Zetterling. They're amazing. My favorite is The Girls, or Flickorna, because I'm also a master of Swedish pronunciation. I saw it once last year, and I was amazed, and then I saw it on 35mm film this year, and I loved it even more. So, big fan. These films are a little shocking, which I think is important because when you've got a status quo level of comfort like Finchinator does, you sometimes need to be provoked into considering other viewpoints. And that kind of shock to the system, that sort of transgression, doesn't have to be extreme, but it is a big part of making change, little by little. So art can be very important sometimes. So that's how we're going to solve those things. Number 4, he laughs at culture, quoted as going LMAO exclamation mark out loud. That was just unforgivable. So we are going to teach Finch the value of restraint and of maybe shutting the hell up for 2 seconds with Miles Davis's In a Silent Way. This is an incredible record. Let me take the sleeve off so you can see it a little better. And of Davis's fusion period, I think I prefer this to Bitches Brew, but I mean, it's either way, it's extraordinary. And getting Finch to just calm down, I mean, even if nothing else, if it doesn't manage to provoke some sort of quiet sublimity within him, which doubtful, but even then, it'll just get him to, not take his rage out on the innocent, such as, women, foreigners. Yeah, I mean, once you combine those, then anyway. So number 5, Toxapex in every gen. This one's just heinous. So I decided this one's going to really require the big guns. So we are on a quest to turn Finchinator into a real human being. And for that, we will need a real hero. So, of course, we are summoning Ryan Gosling in Drive, which he hasn't seen, but he will. But seeing as how this is an incredibly weighty task, we are also going to double up on the Gosling and give him Blade Runner 2049. We could also, I have it somewhere here, make him watch the original Blade Runner, but again, you got to push it, but you can't go too far. Well, that depends. That's a more nuanced discussion on these subjects. Anyway, but we're still not done because this Toxapex deal, I mean, he cuddles it every night. Sick fucking. Anyway. So we're also going to give him the sleeper Gosling pick of Only God Forgives, or Jen Buch Odpoczki, because this is my Czech DVD. And the fact that this one is set in Thailand. I think it's set in Thailand. It's Bangkok, right? Yeah, it's Bangkok. And it's a Czech DVD. I think that's also really going to mess with him. And finally, we are going to give him the ultimate dose of the goose and give him the Drive soundtrack. We're not going to give it to him, my God. We're going to make him listen to it, as if I would ever part with this, my God. So, this is the 10th anniversary edition. It's awesome. It's got some amazing photographs in it, too. As you see here, the wonderful sleeves inside. And let me see some of that art. Oh, the vinyls are beautiful themselves. Let me get those out here. Finch, could you let me get my actual music? Oh, it's from the top. See, I forgot. So the first one, nice and pink. And a color I hope Finchinator begins to embrace, because after all, it is Pride Month. And it's about time he got with the times. And then the second one is blue, because... so if we check out some of the wonderful photographs here, we see, well, this is the backside when he's got that wonderful moment where he puts on the mask and goes and is separated from everyone while they're in the pizzeria. Yeah, and here's Gosling in all his glory. Wonderful black and white. Whoever took these pictures was really nailing it. Then we've got Oscar Isaac, one of his great early roles. And then we've got this incredible picture, one of my favorites, of Carey Mulligan. So I hope this will suffice in at least beginning our journey down the river and in our attempts to qualm Finchinator's heart of darkness. So thank you for watching. Let me know how Finch has wronged you personally. And if you have any more ideas / suggestions for me or for anyone on how Finchinator might be re-educated, then please feel free to leave them. I'm struggling to put the vinyls back in because it's a difficult mental task whose arduousness cannot be overstated. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, that wasn't the issue. Finch, I have had enough. Anyway. Also, my voice is feeling a little raspy. So, yeah. All right, there we go. I've also got a pile of unwatched DVDs and Blu-rays that I haven't gotten to, and I've had them for a while, and I'm moving very soon. So, I mean, on one hand, you could say, oh, you have a fresh start. You get to watch them, in your new place. And I'm just like, it's Finchinator's fault that I haven't seen them to begin with. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.